Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is the third time that I've attempted to film this intro. Not my normal filming setup. As you are able to see, I forgot to film an intro to this video, which is fucking typical of me at this point. This is like the third time also that I've forgotten to film an intro to a 3 looks 1 palette video. As you can tell by the title, this video is my 3 looks 1 palette using the Kaleidos Escape Pod palette. I've been having a ton of fun using my Kaleidos palettes recently, and this one is no exception. I give my thoughts on the palette at the end of the video, and I'm not going to talk that much longer because this is not ideal for me. So without further ado, let's get into the looks. Okay, and for round 2 of this video, because I've already filmed this portion once and then I accidentally deleted it, this is the first look using the Kaleidos Escape Pod palette in my 3 looks 1 palette video. So I want to play with some of the orange tones in here. I really like the way that the look came out the first time I did it. So to start off, I'm going to mix the shade Lo-Fi and the shade Carnival, just because I want to go in with like a transition-ish shade, but I want it to be the tone of Carnival but a little bit lighter. So I'm just gonna mix them, and then I'm going to put this into my crease as a transition shade. Okay, and so on the outer part of my crease, I'm going to go into the shade Tango. It's this bright orange shade. And I'm going to, so put this in the outer corner in my crease. But I'm going to stop applying that like halfway into my crease. Okay, and now in the inner part of my crease, I'm going to go into the shade Carnival. Is that showing up? Yes, Carnival right here. And I'm not going to like dip into any other shade. I'm just going to take this alone and put this in the inner part of my crease. So you can see that they're very similar shades. You might not even really be able to detect that much of a difference, but this Carnival shade that I'm putting down now is definitely like more corally, whereas the Tango shade is essentially just a true orange. Yeah, but these shades honestly just blend themselves. I'm so impressed with the matte so far, and the metallics as well, but they're so easy to use. And then I'm just going to blend the very, very edges of that out with a totally clean, fluffy brush. It doesn't need much because, like I said, they're so easy to blend. To deepen things up now, I'm going to take the shade Terrace. It's this like warm-toned brown. I'm going to put this in my outer corner in my crease, and this I'm taking all the way through my crease. And I'm going to take the brushes that I used, each of the shades that I used in my crease, so the Tango shade and the Carnival shade. I'm just going to blend out the Terrace shade shade so I can like keep the tones of each shade on like the inside and outside of my crease. So I'm just going back and forth and blending. Okay, and so that's basically my crease how I want it. So I'm going to cut my crease and be right back. Okay, so my crease is cut. Now I'm need to fucking rein it in here. So now I'm going to go into the shade Carnival and put that right on the inner part of my crease. It's pretty standard when I do cut creases. I basically do the same thing. And then I'm going to go into Tango, which I used in the outer part of my crease, and just press that into the concealer on my lid, just because I feel like this gives me a better blend after I lay the shimmers down. And so I really liked the way that the green metallics looked with the oranges in my crease. It's just like really fucking good. So I'm gonna go into the shade Saturnalia. It's this like olivey green. I'm gonna spray that, and then am I filming? Yes. And then I'm going to put that in the middle of my lid. And then in the inner part of my lid, I'm going to go into the shade Galactic Gala. And then I'm just going to go back and forth on the different sides of that brush and mesh them together. Now I'm going to go back. Where is that brush? Yes. Now I'm going to go back into the shade Tango slightly, like just a small amount, because these are quite pigmented, and blend that into the Saturnalia shade. And then sometimes I also find it helpful to just go back in with the brush that I use the metallic on and just go back and forth, so it's not such just like a stark line. I'm also going to go back in with a little bit of Terrace and just try to deepen the crease up a little bit, because it's not the darkest shade in the world. So I just want to give it a little bit more depth. And then I'm going to deepen the outer corners with that brown again as well. And then I'm going to go in to Saturnalia and Galactic Gala on my finger and just tap this over the shades. Like, look at Galactic Gala and how much more intense it got. It's such a pretty shade. And then I'm going to go back into that mix of Carnival and Lo-Fi that I used in the very beginning, and I'm just going to buff that around the edges of my shadow just to give it a little bit of a better blend. I actually think that I'm going to go into the shade Carnival and put this all along my lower lash line. Last time I used Tango, which is the orange, but I feel like this is just going to tie everything in a little bit better. So I blended that out as well. I look a little bit sick, but I'm not mad at it. I'm gonna go back in, or not back into, but I'm gonna take the shade Terra, so that brown, connect it to the top lash line, and then bring that all the way along my lower lash line. And then I'm going to go back into that mix of Carnival and Lo-Fi and just blend it out a little bit more. This might be a little bit unnecessary, but I just really like working dark to light and really blowing out my lower lash line. Well, my top like lid as well, but I mean, you know by now that I like my eyeshadow to go basically down to my blush. So for my inner corners, I'm going to go into Starlight Sonata. I'm going to spray this as well, and I'm going to, like I said, put that into my inner corners. It's a little bit deeper than I would normally go for inner corner highlight, but I don't mind it. And in the interests of using like a lot of shades in this palette, I'm going to use it. And then for my brow bone, I'm just going to take my face highlight. I'm using the Ray Ryder highlight from Kaleidos on my face today. And that's all she wrote. So I'm going to go off camera, put my liner and something on my lips, and then we'll be back to conclude this look. Okay, and this is the finished look. So on my lips, I have this old, almost certainly expired ColourPop Ultra Matte Lip in the shade Instigator. My friend actually gave me this as a gift when I was in second year university. So that is a while ago. But I feel like it goes super, super well with my eyeshadow. Holy shit, my eyelashes are stabbing me in the inner corner and fully sticking to my bottom lashes. Like that, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. My eyeliner also has never been more crooked. I'm not doing great right now. But, oh, like I actually can't, I don't know. Anyway, in my waterline, I'm using the ColourPop liner in the shade Puppy. It's an orange. I use it all the time, and that is all that I use. That's really important. I love the way this turned out. The two shades that I used in my crease at the same time aren't super different, but I feel like they're different enough that it adds a little bit of something. I love the oranges and the greens mixed together in this palette. I'm excited to film the two more looks. I feel like every time I look at it, I have a different idea. And yeah, I really, really have enjoyed using this palette so far. I'm going to go eat lunch now because I'm starving, and let's move on to the second look now. Okay, so here's the thing. I know that there is a really loud buzzing sound, but it's minus 20 degrees Celsius outside and I cannot turn the heat off. So I'm sitting directly under like the fan that like sucks heat up, whatever, into the HVAC system. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it currently. And believe me, no one wants it changed more than I do. So we're all just gonna have to bear with it together, I suppose, unfortunately. But today, I'm going to be doing the second look with my Kaleidos Escape Pod palette. And I want to do something a little bit different. I want to, I'm already regretting it as I'm saying it. I want to try to do a halo eye. I normally don't like halo eyes on me specifically. I love the way they look on other people. I just usually don't like the way they look. Maybe it's specifically the way that I typically do them. It's just like in terms of my eye shape, I just don't think it looks normal or like looks great. But I'm going to try to do it. So please bear with me. If the lighting is weird, I opened the window. I don't know if it's working, so just, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna take the shade Soiree, which is this light purple shade, and I'm going to put this all in my crease. I'm going to try to make it like more of a rounded shape. Normally, I kind of just follow the shape of my eye, but I'm going to try to make it a rounded shape. Oh God. I actually can't believe how loud this goddamn fan is. Take the shade Flamingo. It's this pink in the middle here. I'm going I'm just so scared that this is gonna look just jacked, but we're gonna try it. So I'm gonna take this like on my outer corner and my inner corner, but I think the reason that I usually don't like cut or halo eyes on myself is because I haven't brought it all the way through the crease. So what I'm gonna do is bring it like through the crease as much as I normally would, and then we'll see how it goes. If I hate it, I'm just gonna put a shimmer all over the lid and call it a fucking day, but we're gonna see. Okay, so I put that in my crease. It looks, I feel like, a similar shape to what I normally do. Like, I just feel like my eye shape kind of just lends to that, but we're gonna try. So now I'm gonna take a little pencil brush to try to like get precise-ish. This Terrace shade is the brown shade, is like the deepest shade in this palette. So I'm gonna try to deepen it up with this in the interests of like using this palette. And I'm going to use a pencil brush. I'm going to pack this on like the inner and outer part of my eye, as you would do in a halo eye. Like, we're learning together here. I just don't love that brown, but whatever. And then I'm gonna take that same brown Terrace shade and bring it through the crease. Blend out the Terrace, the brown, with the brush that I used Flamingo on. Okay, so I put that in my crease and I buffed it out and stuff. I think the best way to do this for me is to cut my crease just in the middle of my eye and then put the shadow down, because otherwise it's just gonna look the fucking same as it always does. So I'm gonna do that and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I don't know how I quite feel about this, but we're going to roll with it. I'm going to put some more Flamingo on my inner and outer corners. I actually did end up turning the heat off, so you can hear me now. Okay, and then I'm going to go and intensify Terrace again. I'm going to take the shade Amaretto. It's this pinky gold shade here. And I think you can probably guess where I'm gonna place this. I'm gonna spray it, and then I'm gonna put this on the middle of my lid. And now that you can hear me, that the fan is off, my girlfriend won't talk to me about this anymore because she's getting annoyed, but we just finished Schitt's Creek. The video that I posted on Thursday, I think it's supposed to go up on Thursday, I talked about it, but honestly, that show, the ending, was everything I ever wanted. And we watched the like little documentary about it after, and it was just the sweetest. the sweetest thing in the world, and I'm so sad that it's over. I think I'm honestly gonna start rewatching it already. I'm just gonna blend. The fan is back on, by the way. I think my girlfriend turned the heat up, but I'm just gonna blend Flamingo onto my lid, and then I'm gonna take a touch more of Terrace, and then I'm gonna take Amaretto on my finger, and I'm going to pat that on my lid. For my lower lash line, I'm gonna keep it relatively simple. I'm going to take Flamingo all along my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take Terrace again and put that along my lower lash line to deepen it up. Okay, and then I'm going to take Soiree, that purple that I used, and blend my lower lash line out. Also going to gently take that Soiree shade all along my upper lash line, on my lid as well, because I know that purple got blended away. And I'm gonna take Lo-Fi, it's cream beigey color. I think this might be too dark. It'll work. I'm gonna put that on my brow bone. And then I'm gonna take Starlight Sonata. I'm gonna give that a spritz, and I'm gonna put that on my inner corner. Okay, so I just don't know how this looks. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if it looks terrible. I'm gonna put some lashes on, and I'm going to put something on my lips, and then we're gonna be back to see how it looks at that point. Okay, and this is the finished look. I feel like it looks better with lashes on, but I don't know if I love the shape on my eyes. I don't know. Like, I feel like it looks good when I close my eyes, but when I actually have them open and they're relaxed, I don't know. Maybe I just need to practice it more, probably, but I think it looks okay, at least. It's a different shape. I wanted to do something that wasn't just the same thing that I always do. So we're trying new things, okay? But it's a safe space. If you want to tell me that it looks like garbage, you can. I honestly won't be offended. I put a pink liner on my waterline. It's one from ColourPop. I really actually think it's shitty, so don't buy it, but I have it. I'm trying to use it up because I'm not really like a fan of ColourPop at the moment. I also used my ColourPop Lippie pencil in BFF. I'm desperately trying to find a dupe for it, so if you know of one, let me know. And I also used the Nude Sticks, where is it? The Nude Sticks Lip and Cheek pencil in the shade Whisper. This is a lovely nude. I love this so much. I recently rediscovered it. Why do I think Nude Sticks is problematic? Other than their shitty shade range. So that's also why. But I feel like the founders have done something. I don't know. It's hard to keep track these days. Anyway, yeah, let me know if you like it. Do you hate it? Just let me know in the comments, and we can get into the third and final look. Okay, I'm back for the third look with the loud fan going. I don't know what to do, so I'm going to try to not talk too much because I know it's annoying, but I just don't know how to get it turn off. So I want to do something with the purples again because I haven't really done that in one of these looks in this video. I'm going to start off with the shade Soiree again, and I'm just going to put that in my crease as a transition shade. So now I'm going to take the shade Exoplanet. It's this periwinkle shade. I had a little bit of some issues with it last time I used this. I think it was this shade, and I know that other people have also experienced a little bit of issues in terms of like it blending and stuff. So I just want to test it out again today. I'm going to put this all over my lid and into my crease. Okay, so I've turned the fan off, or I've turned the heat off actually, so the fan will be off. I'm so sorry about the middle part of this video because I'm sure it was just super loud, but it's off now, and it's going to be off for the outro, so that's good at least. Now I'm going to take the shade Mardi Gras. It's this purple shade, and I'm going to mix this with a black because I want to deepen this up with a purple tone, but that's not deep enough. Also, this Exoplanet shade on its own so far has blended out well. It's not patchy at all on my lids, so I wonder if it's going to be like layering on top of it that's the issue, but we're going to see. The black I'm using is from the Sci-Fi Green palette. Now my brother is cooking, and he's really loud when he cooks, so it's going to be just loud. Now, I can't escape this. Okay, so now I'm going to take the brush that I used the shade Exoplanet on. I'm going to blend out that Mardi Gras shade mixed with the black. And then I'm going to go back into Exoplanet and put that on my lid and then blend it up on the inner part of my eye. And again, like it's not looking patchy now. It's not looking like it's blending fine. So I wonder if, because in my first impressions I was getting a little bit of patchiness and I wasn't sure if it was this shade or another shade, and I think it might be the brown shade from the Lunar Lavender palette, I believe is what I used, because right now it's looking totally fine. I layered other shades on top of it. It's not looking patchy, it's not looking anything, it's looking totally great. So I don't think it's this shade actually that was giving me issues. All right, and now I'm going to take the shade Space Oasis. It's this purpley pinky shade in the middle of the palette, and I'm going to pat this with my finger, obviously, all over my lid. I recently did a video or a look like this when in my Kaleidos Club Nebula 3 looks 1 palette video, and I loved how it turned out. And because this is like same shadow formula where it's really like iridescent and sparkly, I think this will look really pretty. And yeah, it just looks so sparkly. Unfortunately, I feel like it doesn't really translate the same way on camera as it does in person, but it's so like sparkly and soft, like a lot softer than doing like a cut crease. I love the way it looked and I wanted to do it again. So I basically just patted that with my finger all over the front part of my eye, like basically all the way up into my eyebrows. And then I'm going to take the same mixture of Mardi Gras with a touch of black one more time, and I'm just going to build that up in my outer corner. And then I'm going to take a touch of the shade Soiree, which was that light purple that we used initially, and I'm going to run this mostly on the outer part of my crease because I don't really want to touch the shimmery shade too much, but I'm just going to lightly run that over everything. For my lower lash line, again, I just want to keep it all like really the same tone. So I'm going to go into Exoplanet and I'm going to take that all along my lower lash line and blend it out. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing. So mix Mardi Gras with a little bit of black and put that on my lower lash line to deepen things up. So now that that is done, and I have that blended out, I'm going to take Soiree, so that light purple shade, one more time and blend everything out. I actually really love the way this looks. I do purple a lot, but I feel like I don't have a ton of like these really like light lavender periwinkle shades. So I'm really into this. And then last but not least, I'm going to take Starlight Sonata. I'm going to give that a spray and I'm going to put that on my inner corners. Actually, that's a lie. Now I'm going to take the shade Lo-Fi. And I'm going to highlight my brow bone with this, but I'm just taking a very small amount. Okay, and that is basically it. Again, it's pretty simple, but I really love the effect it gives. I wonder if you can see just how sparkly it looks. I don't know. I think it looks really cool. So I'm going to hop off camera, put my lashes on, and put something on my lips, and then I'll be back to conclude this saga of a fucking video. Okay, and this is the finished look. I put a plum in my waterline. It's just a random, well, it's not random, but it's just a ColourPop pencil liner. And then on my lips, I used the Essence Soft Contouring Lip Liner in the shade Lost in Love. It's a pink. I normally don't really like pink lips, so I don't actually know why I have this lip liner, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. And so I used it. I don't know what to fucking say. And then I also used the ColourPop Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade Fairy Floss. And that's pretty much all she wrote. Oh no, I did add something to my eyeshadow when I went off camera. I put the shade Cosmic Cabaret. It's this purple metallic shade, and I put that right on the inner part of my lower lash line just because I liked the way it looked. I wanted to add something a little bit extra sparkly, and that's what I did. It doesn't make a huge difference, but I do think that it makes enough of a difference to like make an impact, if you know what I mean. And this is the end of this video. Let me tell you, it's been a fucking time to film this video. So I apologize if this hasn't been one of my best quality videos, but you gotta make do, I guess, when everyone is at home all the time. But in terms of my thoughts on this palette, I really enjoy this. And the main mystery going into this video was whether the shade Exoplanet, this periwinkle shade, was a dud or not, like whether it actually performed well, because in my first impressions I used that shade and a shade from the Lunar Lavender palette, so like the 6-pan Lunar Lavender palette from Kaleidos, and I had a little bit of patchiness. I wondered if it was this Exoplanet shade because I know that I had heard a lot of people say that they didn't like it, like that they thought it was patchy or that it didn't blend or whatever, but I actually think that it was fine. And I used this all over my eyes today. I blended it out. I put it all on my lower lash line. I blended shadows on top of it, and it didn't get patchy. It didn't get weird. It blended out beautifully. So I actually don't have any issues with that Exoplanet shade. I think potentially it was the shade from the Lunar Lavender palette that was causing the patchiness. So I haven't had any issues with any of the shades in this palette. The only shade that I haven't used on my eyes is the shade Bossa Nova, this taupey, light taupe shade. But I'll probably use it in a different video that I have in my head that I'm planning. I really have enjoyed this palette. In a like if I was using this palette not for videos, I probably would pull in other palettes just because this is mostly mid-toned. The shade Terrace, this brown, is buildable. You can get it to be a little bit deeper, but for some of these purple shades, specifically this Exoplanet shade, I don't always want to be blending a warm brown into there. For the oranges and the pink, it's fine, but I want to have more options than just to have a warm brown to deepen it up. But other than that, I really think this is beautiful. It's not a palette that I would normally gravitate to in terms of the color story. I pretty much bought this because I love Kaleidos and I love their formula, and I just wanted to have it basically. But now that I do have it, I really, really love it. Especially the Exoplanet shade, the periwinkle that I used on my eyes in this look. It's so beautiful. I honestly know that I don't have any other shade like this in my collection, and I have a lot of palettes, so that's saying a lot. The metallics are very sparkly, not super pigmented. A lot of them don't have a really strong base shade. This Cosmic Cabaret, this purple, is probably the least like sparkly sheer shade and more of like a traditional full opacity metallic shade, but you can build them all up to be like true to how they look in the pan in terms of pigment. This Amaretto shade is also not quite as sparkly when compared to say like Starlight Sonata or Space Oasis or the two green shades. And I also will say that I don't love this Lo-Fi shade. I am not a huge fan of having beiges in palettes. I think it's limiting. So that is not my favorite shade in this palette, but overall I've really, really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to using it more. Every time I look at it, I think of new things to do with it, and I had a great time filming this video. Well, that's a lie. I had a great time using this palette. Filming this video was something else entirely. Let me know which look was your favorite. Do you have this palette? Do you like it? Do you like the color story? Do you not? Let me know. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see from me, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye. What?
The new Google widget right to your home screen and start your search faster. Just one tap and you're searching in the Google app. Download the Google app and get the widget.
Have you guys seen my nail clippers anywhere?
Yeah, I put them over by the TV.
How fast can your nails grow?
Also, don't clip your nails where people eat.
I don't clip my nails there.
Why are your nail clippers on the table then?
Well, because
Do you just like clipping your nails?
I have one nail to clip, and
One nail to clip.
Yeah.
Only one.
Why do you have one
Don't
nail
you have
to
20
clip?
nails?
because it's It's been under a band-aid for so long.
Stop.